Welcome to Centennial Art Center. I'm Josh Wagner, Supervisor of the Visual Arts, and I'm here with local artist and illustrator Nadine Shillingford Wondem, one of the featured artists in this exhibit. The exhibit is called Voices of the Past. It's a celebration of Black history, and for this exhibit, Nadine has put together a collection of portraits, and she's even included some quotes from each of the subjects. Due to COVID restrictions, we're not able to have an in-person gathering, so we've invited the artist to come in and talk about their work. So Nadine is here to do just that. So without further ado, Nadine, would you tell us a little bit about the collection of portraits that you've provided here?
Hi everyone, I'm Nadine. My portraits are all done in charcoal on tone gray paper. I started most of them as part of this project. I will start out with this first one right here, which is of Kwame Lillard, who unfortunately passed away recently. He has a great history of this particular center, in that he was one of the original people who came in when this was a pool. I have a blog post which explains some of the history of the art center, where we're standing right now, and I thought he would be one of the most important people in this particular exhibit. My main motivation for doing these drawings is just to show a positive side to African American history. Most of the drawings I do are based on just inspiration, daily inspiration. Each of these is completed in one night, so I usually do them between 45 minutes to about 3 hours. And again, this one, for example, this is Naomi Tutu, a friend of mine, and she is the daughter of Desmond Tutu of South Africa, and it was her birthday, so I drew this one for her. I like she's a really fun person. The quote, "We are different because the world needs our different gifts," it kind of tells you the kind of person that she is. So I wanted to include her in the exhibit. Rosa Parks, we've all seen this image of Rosa Parks with her arrest card. Fannie Lou Hamer, I had not heard of her before, but during the coming up to the election, I decided to look up people who were in the civil rights movement, women who were in the civil rights movement, and she was one of them that came up. One of my favorite quotes of hers is, "Hate won't only destroy us, it will destroy those people that's hated as well." So that's an important one. Another important drawing that I did was that of our new Vice President, Kamala Harris. I wanted to portray her as a little girl because at the moment when she was she was selected as Vice President, I think it was important to show little girls that this is somebody who was just like me, had the braids, this little smile and everything, and look where she is right now. So that was an important one. I'll talk about these next two ones. The first one is of Loretta Scott King. I try to get images of people that are not usually portrayed, right? So just like the Kamala Harris one, I decided to use something that's not face on. This one is particularly interesting because you can see that this is during the funeral of Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, and she's sitting there, the little girl is next to her, and you can tell that they're very sad. It's not a very great time for them at all. So I like that drawing that image because it portrayed that sadness. This one, on the other hand, was a more recent one in that it was taken by Rafael Warnock, who recently was elected a senator in Georgia. And I like that because he's portrayed his mom after coming from voting. You can see her voting sticker right here. And he said, as a black teenager growing up in Waycross, Georgia in the 1950s, my mom used to pick somebody else's cotton. Today, those 82-year-old hands picked her son to be a United States Senator from Georgia. God bless her and God bless America. To me, that was like really deep when I saw it. Sometimes I get my inspiration from music. I love listening to Bob Marley. Listening to his music reminds me of my dad for some reason, so I like his music a lot. And again, this is not the usual picture you see of Bob Marley. This is a picture of him really getting into the music and, you know, singing. Some of the other people on here, like Shirley and James Baldwin and Benjamin O. Davis, they might not necessarily be the most common people you talk about in Black history. Shirley Chisholm is a good role model for young girls because she was one of the first women to run for U.S. president, and that's an important story to tell. Benjamin O. Davis Jr., he was part of the Tuskegee Airmen. He was actually the U.S. Air Force general and commander of World War II. And one of his quotes was, "The privilege of being an American belonged to those brave enough to fight for them." So I thought that was a really, really good one. These two right here would be some of my poetic and musical idols. Maya Angelou, determined to live life with flair and laughter, and Aretha Franklin. Sometimes when what you're looking for is already there. And then with these last few drawings, these two right here in particular are recent, the most recent. I did them after the election, or this one I did on the day of election, this one on the day after. I find them very sentimental because at this point, Kamala and Vice President and the President are bumping fists. And I thought this represented what was happening at the time, in that this is, number one, there's COVID, so you couldn't hug, you give a bump. And two, the momentous occasion of this election. This one right here, I think I wanted to draw her in particular, Amanda Gorman, because her poem meant a lot to me when she read it. At this point, I think I was in tears during the inauguration, because she said some really positive things in that poem. And one of the things she said was, "When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid, the new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it." That is really powerful. And this is another quick quote: "For without unity, there is no peace, only bitterness and fury."
Thank you, Nadine, for sharing all of that. Again, this exhibit is on display February 5th through March 25th. Please come visit us Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. for a safe, self-guided tour. Have a great day.